Assalamualaikum. I think it's very late. So I only pointing out only two things I have to pointing out here. In 1938, 1938 November, Usmania University have witnessed one of the important movement in the history of nationalist movement in India. That was when Vande Mataram movement. It was started in Usmania University in 1938. In that same Usmania University, in 2005, the Beef Festival has happened, even before Modi regime. So, in one way, in 1938 Vande Mataram movement in Usmania University has seen as a movement, as seen as the beginning of a secular nationalism in Osmania campus. And Beef Festival on that time, I think it is 2005, Beef Festival on that time is seen as a sectarian movement, an identity movement. People are bringing culture into the politics unnecessary. This kind of argument have built around Beef Festival. This is the same university in 1938. Vande Mataram movement happened as a secular nationalism. What happened throughout this period? Why this specific Beef Festival? And after all, Osmania students have organized many cultural festivals, many cultural festivals like that, to, as Sudarshan said, to resist the hegemony of Hindutva culture in the campuses and give self-respect and self-esteem to the marginalized community. Even they, once they organized the Iftar Fest as a response to the larger Islamophobic discourse surrounding the Hyderabad and all. So why these Beef festivals or cultural festivals or this kind of Dalit minority students festivals are seen as sectarian or identitarian, or simply as once when we are in, I was in Iflo during a one protest, once we are held by the police, in police station they gave us a counseling, a kind of counseling. He advised us that you should read Kaja Ilaya and all, but it should be a kind of intellectual exercise rather than this kind of political exercise. So he was counseling us that, yes, I also read, the police inspector himself said that I also read Ambedkar, I also read many people, but they are all not anti-nationals like you. So this was his advice. But what happened from 1938 to 2005? Why certain kind of cultural festival depict as one of the secular national movement, and another as a sectarian, identitarian, or just like a kind of a intellectual exercise on that time? Even now, that politics has get a different dimension. Beef politics have get a different dimension now. So it is already many have pointed out the failure of Indian nationalism to secure stability at the level of the symbolic. The political inexistence of Indian nationalism at the level of symbolic have led to, this is I am quoting from symbolic have led to vigorous campaign on national flag, national song, charismatic Virat Purushans, successful military campaigns, and on other hand, Sachin Tendulkar like cricket nationalism as a temporary relief to the inexistence of symbolic nationalism. But on other hand, the symbolic has filled with Hinduism or Brahminical ideologies. Though this is very, even I'm again quoting, India is that a rare case of national identity which effectively rests on a religious foundation, although everybody denies this unpleasant truth, by conveniently position themselves as an enlightened pose. No, time is over. So, what I am trying to say is that how this kind of movement, how unsettled the very very truth that the Indian nationalism's core idea of Hinduism, and meantime this enlightenment position of certain group of people and almost certain group of activists, certain group of people. The second thing is that as Ravichandran has pointed out here, this new politics is not about the victimhood. It is not about the some kind of begging for some kind of victimhood position. Rather, in a different context, Salman said about Islamophobia. Why Islamophobic discourse are surrounding in Europe or in many countries? Because Islam is become at the center of politics. The presence of Islam or Muslims are there. So that is why Islamophobia. In that sense, if you say that why these people are very much fear about this identity politics or this kind of politics, it is that it is the potential. This politics shows, as many have elaborated, these politics of shows is its a potential to democratize the basic assumption on which our nation stood for, and basic thing our nation ignored for the last 5 years. And by concluding this, I want to point out a third point also. Meanwhile, I think this politics has to think about, it's not a politics every time speaking about the lack or but rather it also reflectively think about the excess also. So I am not elaborating these points very, I only say these things, I want to share these things, but maybe in some other time we have to elaborate this idea. I think anyway, this politics has gained its momentum. Even now it is getting electoral success and all. Even without even electoral success, I think the imagination it have changed. It is very important. So that's why this politics has to continue by self-reflection, by thinking more deep thinking about entire situation. I am concluding by these words. Salaam.